Wednesday morning, Southeast Texas. Temperatures outside already in the upper 80s across parts of the area. On our Roofing 911 Skycam network outside our 12 studios, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. We have mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies, some cumulus clouds out there over in Lake Charles as well. And with a weak front working down from the north, it's very weak, very weak boundary, kind of separating some slightly drier air off to our north to the more humid air over our area. We could see a couple of showers and thunderstorms developing later today. There's a couple already in the lakes area. We'll show you those in just a few minutes, but it's our Roofing 911 Skycam network in Lake Charles. A little build to the cumulus clouds there. We'll give it a 20% coverage coming up later on this afternoon, which means most areas won't see a drop, but 20% of the area will see a shower or thunderstorm this afternoon. Now, we started off even across parts of southwest Louisiana this morning in the 70s for lows. Pretty warm this morning. We had low 70s lakes, mid 70s up in the triangle and down to where the coastline. Now, I was kind of paying attention to these clouds here. A little bit more build to the clouds up in the lakes area. This is our Roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, sponsored by Provalis. Notice they're partly sunny to mostly cloudy there. There are a couple of showers developing in the lakes along that weak boundary that's sagging to the south. So very weak front. We're hoping we'll get a little bit stronger front in here coming up by late in the weekend into early next week, but more clouds up there, that's for sure, than what we have in the triangle. You can see the difference there. This is our Roofing 911 Skycam network down in Port Arthur, sponsored by Market Baskets. Mostly sunny down toward Port Arthur. Cumulus clouds a little flatter there, but as the day goes on, we'll get more heating. We'll see those widely scattered showers and thunderstorms developing across the area this afternoon. Off in the distance, things will get pretty good. It was certainly pretty warm along the coast this morning. We had lows in the mid to upper 70s there. Pretty mild start. That'll be the case again tonight. This weak front coming in from the north, it's very weak. Just maybe a degree or two off the nighttime lows coming up over the next couple of nights, maybe a little bit more up in the lakes area. And over in Orange, our Roofing 911 Skycam network over there, sponsored by the Horseman's Western Store, already 89 degrees under partly cloudy skies across Orange County this morning as well. So there'll be a few showers developing later today. Most areas stay dry though, as that weak front works in. We have just enough moisture for a couple of showers today. You know, back over the weekend, computer models were showing nothing for today. Didn't have much yesterday either over the weekend, but the moisture's really kind of hung around a little bit. The models were a little bit too slow on, or too fast, drying us out from the weekend into the middle part of the week here. And our other camera here in Beaumont, Roofing 911 Skycam network, sponsored by Packard and Pray. A little bit of darkness to some of the clouds there, but still no rain across portions of the triangle. We have partly cloudy skies, but like I said, we'll have a few showers coming up, and we should top out in the lower 90s coming up later this afternoon. Low 90s, 92, 93 in the lakes and in the triangle as well. And we started out along Interstate 10 and the lower to mid 70s for lows in Beaumont and Orange this morning too. Pretty mild, very light winds. That'll be the case again tonight too. Just we've gone weeks now without any wind at all. And our last tour here of the stop on our Roofing 911 Skycam network, our camera outside our 12 studios, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies across Beaumont this afternoon. But there, like I said, there'll be a couple of showers popping up later today. We had a couple yesterday, though not many. That coverage yesterday was pretty skimpy at around 10% or less. We'll go 10 to 20 coming up for this afternoon. Already, as I said, mid to upper 80s across parts of southeast Texas already. So a pretty warm start to your morning. Lots of sunshine out there, but some areas will have showers coming up this afternoon. All right, your allergy report. Some good news here, except for the mold. Of course, we're way up there in that, but look at the tree, the weed, the grass, low to none. That's great news there for the allergy sufferers, but once again, that mold still very high. Don't see a whole lot of improvement at, maybe a little bit over the next couple of days. All right, temperatures, 86 Lake Charles, 87 in DeQuincy, 88 Beaumont, 86 Port Arthur, running in the mid 80s up in the lakes area. Houston, you're at 88, so is Conroe and Huntsville. They'll probably hit 95, 96 out to our west later on this afternoon. And pretty warm. So we'll top out in the lower 90s across the area. All right, let's take a look at radar. We had a few showers earlier up in the lakes. Those weakened, but notice some more redeveloping, especially in northern Newton County there. Actually a thunderstorm pretty close to Burkeville, in a little small thin line trying to develop to the southwest. That's along that weak cold front that's sagging south. That's the key word. It's weak, that's for sure. Nothing showing up in the triangle, but notice the showers once again working very slowly off to the east southeast. So 20% coverage not only for the lakes but for the triangle as well. Southwestern Louisiana, you'll have a 20 to 30% coverage coming up later this afternoon. There's also some showers, as you see there, off to our east, out in the Gulf. Those are working away, but a few showers there west of Lafayette on up toward Oberlin this morning. All right, satellite radar. Boy, it is quiet. A couple showers developing in the lakes right now along that weak boundary. There's that old front to our south in the Gulf that really didn't give us much drying at all. It's a little secondary surge coming in from the north this afternoon, but notice how all of Texas is quiet. Lots of clear skies from Dallas to San Antonio, and even parts of West Texas have mostly clear skies on up into Oklahoma this morning. And some of the deepest moisture is just off to our east. You can see that in the clouds there from Shreveport and eventually working southeastward toward New Orleans. A couple other thunderstorms earlier in northwestern Mississippi. Those have weakened, but as that weak boundary works to the south, we'll see a few developing across our area the rest of the day. Once again, we'll give that coverage at around 20% or so. Once again, a few high clouds across the western portions of Texas this morning. And across the deep south, it's actually pretty quiet. Even on into the panhandle of Florida, things look good. Some thunderstorms early this morning in eastern Tennessee. Upper level low across portions of Canada. With a big spin there, producing some showers around Chicago, back into extreme northern Missouri this morning. And a little bit of moisture in the southwest. The moisture you see in the southwest down by the Baja there, that's from a tropical system out in the Pacific. Thankfully not in the Gulf, it's out in the Pacific, so that's good news there. But notice it is producing a few scattered showers across portions of Arizona, western New Mexico, on up into Nevada this morning. A little bit of activity even into portions of Washington and Oregon. The east, well, fairly quiet there. Up and down the eastern seaboard, things look pretty good. Showers and storms way off the coast of the Atlantic. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast. Doing a pretty good job. A few little showers developing now into this afternoon. Notice they'll work to the southeast this afternoon along that boundary. This is at 3:30. Few beginning to pop up here and there. Once again, the coverage is going to be quite small. Now, we have a little bit of moisture actually above the surface. There's a weak upper level disturbance in there too. We just don't have any surface convergence where the winds come together off the Gulf and converge with winds out of the north like you'd normally see with a boundary. We still have northwesterly winds, so we're just not getting any convergence with this at all. Plus the dynamics are fairly weak, but there's enough out there to give us that 20% coverage of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Notice right around, this doesn't mean there'll be a thunderstorm over Orange at 5 o'clock, but just an indication there'll be a few popping up along that boundary here and there, especially after around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. And then everything should begin to weaken or will weaken once we start losing daytime heating. But up until around 7 this evening, we'll keep that 20% going in the forecast. And of course, once we lose heating, then the showers and thunderstorms will begin to weaken. And it's going to be quiet overnight. I'm not expecting any rain overnight at all. In fact, it'll be mostly clear with that slightly drier air working in. Tomorrow morning, not too bad. A little bit drier up in the lakes area. Some mid to upper 60s, not out of the question there. Low 70s in the triangle, but it is possible to see some 60s from Burkeville to Kirbyville, back to the west to Woodville, back over to Huntsville. Up tomorrow morning, it'll feel pretty comfortable on your Thursday morning. And as we head throughout the morning hours to the noon hour tomorrow, lots of sunshine tomorrow. In fact, we look to be mostly sunny coming up, a little bit lower humidity. It's going to be a very nice day coming up for your Thursday, Friday as well. In fact, Friday night football for the second week in a row looks pretty good. So, hey, that's something to talk about right there. It's a lot of time on Friday nights we have weather issues, but it looks good this Friday night for high school football. And of course, tomorrow afternoon with that drier air in place, yeah, it's going to be pretty hot. Mid-90s, close to 100 in the Houston area, some upper 90s definitely. All right, we know the tropics are quiet across the Caribbean and the Gulf. Most of the Atlantic's good shape. We are watching a strong tropical wave southwest of the Cape Verde Islands, and this has the potential of becoming the next tropical depression over the next couple of days. Way out there, we're talking days and days away from even the Windward and Leeward Islands. But the good news is, and we'll talk about this in just a moment, but this will stay, looks like anyway, out of the Gulf of Mexico too. I think it stays away, so we're going to be in pretty good shape there. In fact, let's take a look at some rotation. This is the low-level spin in the system. Put this into motion. Notice it's spinning on across the Atlantic the next several days. Northern, Windward, and Leeward Islands, September 11th, which that's next Thursday, a week from tomorrow. But there is a trough along the east coast of the U.S. We'll have high pressure still, so this one should turn to and stay out to sea. So that is some great news. We have very, very fortunate here in the tropics so far. What is this? We're in the first week of September. We get through the next 2 to 4 weeks, I think we'll make it. I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So even this next one should turn, so looks good. So it's looking like it's getting to the point, of course, the later we get, the less chance we'll see anything. Something may actually have to develop in the Caribbean off Central America, but right now no signs of that even happening. So that's some good news there. All right, let's take a look at that marine forecast. Not much wind, that's for sure. It'll be light north, becoming light southwest. Late today, weak sea breeze will develop right along the coast, very weak. And that water temperature at 89 degrees, pretty warm. Sea's only around a foot. The next high tide at 3:29 a.m. We have a low tide at 6:57. So marine forecast looks good as well. All right, this afternoon for the lakes, inland southeast Texas and the triangle, of course, inland southeast Texas is Deweyville, Buna, Silsbee, Lumberton, Coots, Votal, and Sour Lake. That is inland southeast Texas. We have our viewing area into 3 different areas because the weather varies so much. Lakes, inland, and triangle. Of course, the triangle extends from Sabine Pass, Port Arthur, LaBelle to Winnie, China, Beaumont, Vidor, Mauriceville. That's the triangle. 20% coverage across the board this afternoon with just light northwesterly winds. So not much wind out there, that's for sure. All right, for tonight, looks pretty good. We'll go mostly clear skies, no rain expected. Some 60s though for lows in the morning for the lakes. That'll feel nice when you wake up in the lakes area. Inland southeast Texas, 70, 71, not bad. You'll feel it in the morning in the air, a little bit drier, pretty nice to start off your Thursday, and around 71, 72 along Interstate 10. Of course, not much wind expected overnight tonight. All right, 7-day forecast, 20% coverage this afternoon, early this evening. No rain Thursday, Friday, only isolated on Saturday at 10% coverage Saturday. So Saturday overall, okay, a pretty decent chance. Now we'll be updating this again this afternoon once we get new data. New models come in later this afternoon. Right now we'll go with a 50% coverage on Sunday as another front tries to work in from the north Sunday evening. And right now, looking at new data from overnight, next Monday, Tuesday look a lot drier, and highs in the upper 80s and lows in the upper 60s. Once again, we'll be updating this though again later today. Let's check the phone and see if we've had any questions come in this morning. Let's see. There is one question. So with the Gulf being